Hello, everybody! Get excited because it's Littleland, even though it's framed up a little bit differently. The reason for the difference in framing is that my little room is a gigantic mess and I'm far too lazy to do anything about it. Okay. Where are we up to for Littleland? I forgot to check. Would it really be Littleland if I did remember to check? Honestly, I don't think that it would be. We're up to Part 2, Chapter 13. Which is exciting, guys, because Frank is just about to have his spanking. Okay, so everybody, you know the drill by now. But if you don't know the drill, if you're brand new, go back and start at Chapter 1, because we're quite far into the story now. But if you have heard the stories, then you will know what to do, which is time to get nice and cuddly, time to settle down. Grab your story time companion, whether that's a pet, a stuffed animal, a caregiver, a friend. Settle down and let's have a story. Okay? Okay. This is Littleland, Part 2, Chapter 13. Oh, also, I don't know where my glasses are, and it's a very Dr. Gilbert heavy chapter, so you'll just have to be patient, please. I have no idea where they went. Maybe I should just get another pair of glasses and leave them on my desk. And they'll be my desk glasses, so I don't have to worry about frantically turning the house upside down trying to find my glasses every time it's time to film a chapter of Littleland. Okay, here we go. Leadenly, Frank started across the room. The chasm of space between the small boy and his towering caregiver seemed vast and insurmountable. He continued at the fastest pace his quivering legs would carry him, which seemed achingly slow. Soon, Frank was in range of the doctor, and he was stolen from the ground and gently draped over Dr. Gilbert's knee. Almost immediately, Frank began to squirm. Now, there's no sense in wriggling. You're here for a nice long while, little boy, said the doctor, moving to unbutton the flap at the back of Frank's bodysuit. This action only served to further motivate Frank's squirming, and soon the doctor brought his hand down upon the small boy's bottom in warning. Please, don't unbutton that, pleaded Frank, gruffly. Have I ever spanked you over your onesie, little man? Well, no, but then I see no reason to break with tradition. I spank bottoms, not onesies, said Dr. Gilbert, patting Frank's now unclothed backside, as if to illustrate his point. Frank groaned. The warmth of the doctor's hand was pleasant, and this notion filled the little boy with shame. Once again, Frank attempted to break free of the doctor's contact, and was rewarded with a forearm curled tightly around his waist. Stop that now, please, said Dr. Gilbert, leaning down to murmur in Frank's ear. If you can't behave yourself, I shall hold your arms. Is that clear? Frank froze. Yes, sir, he said, squeezing his eyes shut in anticipation of the doctor's usual powerful introduction. Good boy, said the doctor, giving Frank's bottom another series of pats that caused his toes to curl. Let's begin. Even squeezing his eyes shut did not prepare Frank for those first 10 spanks. They rained down upon his backside like hot fire, and he fought to stay silent, to remain in position, though he longed to leap from the doctor's knee and flee to the opposite corner of the world. The doctor slowed his pace after the initial 10, as usual, and Frank relaxed slightly. He relaxed, that is, until Dr. Gilbert spoke. Now then, began the doctor, spanking steadily, I'd like you to tell me why you're over my knee. I yelled at Piper, said Frank, shortly, curling his toes when the doctor briefly quickened his pace. Your tone, little man, chided Dr. Gilbert. I do not appreciate it. Sorry, I yelled at Piper, sir. You did, the doctor agreed. Can you remember what it was that you said? No, not exactly, stammered Frank, rapidly losing the self-control required to remain still while enduring what was shaping up to be a memorable spanking. It was a lie. The words he'd spoken had swirled guiltily inside his head all day. Something about telling her to go away so I could sleep. And I swore. Yes, You did use some very naughty words, didn't you? Frank simmered with humiliation and quiet, building rage. He again forced himself to speak. Yes, you know how I feel about that kind of language, young man. I know, cried Frank. I know you don't like it. I'm sorry. Are you sorry for using filthy words, little boy? Or are you sorry you're being spanked? Sorry I'm being spanked, shouted Frank, the last of his willpower to remain still dissipating. It hurts, and I already said sorry to Piper. Frank bucked, kicked, and twisted, anything to escape the path of Dr. Gilbert's dreadfully accurate hand. No, said the doctor, increasing the force of his falling hand ever so slightly. Do you remember what I said would happen if you couldn't behave over my knee? At Frank's protest, the doctor gathered the small boy's hands behind his back and held to them firmly. I'm afraid you've already had your chance for now, little one. If you're a good boy for me, I will release them. Dr. Gilbert resumed his assault on Frank's backside, and fight though he may, Frank was even less successful in his attempts to dodge the strokes. There, little boy, said Dr. Gilbert, stroking Frank's clenched hand with his thumb. I know your bottom hurts. Of course it hurts, sniffled Frank furiously. You're the one hurting it. In response, the doctor adjusted his trajectory and unleashed a volley of stinging swats upon the boy's thighs. Again, your tone, Francois. Please mind it. Frank grit his teeth as he scowled through the pain, his brows knitting tightly. He gave no verbal response. I'm going to give you a moment to reconsider that outburst, little boy. I'd like you to settle down and think about your behavior yesterday, please. I'll let you know when it's time to talk again. But, protested Frank. But he swiftly closed his mouth when the doctor deployed another stinging swat to the crease between the little boy's bottom and his thighs. Not a word, young man. Just think for me, please. Frank squeezed his eyes shut and tensed his backside and attempted to put aside some of his shame in order to comply with the direction. Try though he might, he continued to struggle with the reality of the situation he would be in for the next few weeks. He was a fully grown adult, an investment manager, and yet here he was, upended over a man's knee like a naughty little boy and having his bottom paddled through a hole in his onesie. In his imagination, this very scenario was something that had interested Frank. In practice, it felt quite different. He felt guilty. He felt small. He felt aggravated. He felt a slimy, clinging mix of shame and arousal. It occurred to Frank that fantasy was a far cry from reality, but he was shocked as to the degree. The guilt was dreadful. He longed to sob and beg the doctor for leniency, anything to rid himself of what he was currently feeling and be forgiven and even be a good boy. The shame burned in his stomach. It was the kind of sensation that might feel pleasurable under different circumstances. But as it was, Frank felt only regret. He didn't want to fight with everyone. In fact, having friends seemed a nice prospect. He wasn't sure why his first instinct in social situations was to snap and to growl. Exactly! Maybe if I tell them, then you'll be taken away somewhere else and I can get some fucking sleep! The words, thick with venom, echoed through Frank's mind to the backdrop of Dr. Gilbert's hand still falling methodically. He regretted them deeply. He knew it did no good to yell and be cruel, but still, he'd done it. He did it often. Frank wiped his eye on the coverlet, startled to discover it soaked. When had he started crying? There, little boy, said the doctor, soothingly. Have you had enough time to think? Yes, sir, said Frank, softly. Would you like your arms back? He asked, and released them when Frank responded in the affirmative. The boy stretched out and gave an appreciative little sound, causing Dr. Gilbert to smile fondly as he rubbed gentle circles between Frank's shoulder blades. Good boy. Now I'm going to ask my question again, he said, spanking slowly. Why are you over my knee tonight? And I'll remind you to please mind your tone. Because I said something mean to Piper. And I yelled and I swore and it wasn't very nice. said Frank, in a mournful tone. And I'm sorry I said it, not just sorry that I'm being spanked, sir. Frank sniffled and rested his head on folded arms. Thank you for your apology, little one. That was very good, and I'm proud of you for apologizing to Piper earlier, said Dr. Gilbert, giving Frank's shoulder a gentle squeeze. Can you tell me why you shouted? I don't know, moaned Frank. I don't know why I do it. Why don't we work together to figure it out? Asked the doctor, and Frank nodded vigorously. I don't want to be so... I want friends. Well, what were you feeling when it happened? I don't know, Frank mumbled. Tired? Said the doctor, thoughtfully. I'm not quite sure this was just a case of overtiredness, but it could have played a part. Tell me what else you were feeling, sweetheart. Scared. Embarrassed. Understandable, said Dr. Gilbert. You're very small in a big, scary new place. By this point, the doctor's spanking arm was delivering little more than firm pats, and you've got to rely on us for everything. That's very scary, isn't it? Yeah. Frank wiped his eye with a forearm, still sniffling. It's hard. I don't usually do that. And it would be hard to go from being a grown-up to a little boy, I can imagine. So hard, cried Frank. Everyone sees me naked. I can't use a toilet or put on my own clothes or anything. That would make a little one feel embarrassed, wouldn't it? Really embarrassed. Frank cut himself off. Go on, little man. You can finish. I wanna... let go, I'm so embarrassed all the time, and Frank trailed off. I believe I understand, said the doctor, still delivering the occasional gentle spank to Frank's rosy backside. What would you worry about happening? If you did, let go. Frank barked a laugh. A grey, humourless sound. Anything could happen. Everyone could think I'm dumb. I don't know, moaned Frank, covering his eyes with a hand. Why do you think they might laugh at you, little man? I don't know, 'cause they don't like me. 'Cause all I do is yell. No, darling boy, that is not true, said the doctor, running his free palm up and down Frank's back as his spanking hand slowly continued. The little boy relaxed even further over his caregiver's knee. Still, he sniffled. I'm told you're all getting along very well this afternoon when you were colouring in. I made a frog. When we're finished here, I would love to see it, said Dr. Gilbert. Did you have fun this afternoon? Yeah, admitted Frank. It was nice to join in. So, began the doctor, gently, if it was nice to join in, and you have a clean slate with Piper, what's to stop you from joining in more often? It's not that simple, whined Frank. Why's that? Because I don't know how to talk to people. Is that not why you're here, little man? To learn? Frank lay unmoving in stunned silence. He supposed he was there to learn that very skill. The doctor gave Frank's pink bottom a few light pats before his hand came to rest. So, to recap, said Dr. Gilbert softly, you were feeling embarrassed, which led you to lash out. Is that right? Frank sniffled and gave his head a series of little nods. He said huskily. Is that a nice thing for a little boy to do? No, said Frank emphatically. Not nice, sir. Not fair. Exactly right, little one. Not nice or fair. What did we learn today? I'm here to learn. Don't yell. Don't swear. Very good, darling boy. You're doing so well. A smile crept over Frank's face. He became aware of a slow, warm, happy feeling blooming in his chest. The block of ice that had filled his stomach had melted. The doctor's stern attention and gentle praise had seen to that. He felt minuscule, but not in the dizzying, nauseous way he'd felt earlier. He felt safe. We're very nearly done. The doctor began to rub comforting circles around his charge's tender backside, causing Frank to shiver and tuck his face into his arms. There's just one more thing. Are you with me? At Frank's shaky affirmation, the doctor proceeded. All right, darling boy. What do you say when you've been naughty? I'm sorry, sir, mumbled Frank. The little boy was shocked to note the complete absence of shame as he spoke the childish words. Maybe he really had learned a lesson. That's it. Sorry. Well, I think that's it. I hope you liked today's chapter of Littleland. There'll be more coming very, very soon, along with the unboxing video and more Darcy's Diaper Days. If you still haven't entered the Littleland art competition, I'll leave the details for that below. But basically, draw or paint or sketch or sculpt or any kind of art that you would like. Even cosplay would be awesome of your favorite Littleland character. Send it to me at an email address that I've forgotten the name of, but it'll be on the screen now. I'm doing first, second, and third, and I'm going to do up little prize packs for the winners. So yeah, get your entries in. You still have a little while to go. It's till the end of September. I hope you all have a day that you want to remember. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.